Hello, Bishop Walsh here, Wednesday, May 3rd. And it was interesting waking up on May 1st to 3 or 4 inches of snow on the ground. And I guess instead of April Fools, it was a May Fool's joke by Mother Nature. We are hopeful, even though it's very pretty to look at, that that will be the last of it. And we can look forward to nicer springtime weather ahead. Well, we have a number of things to just mention for the week ahead. The Catechism B is going to take place tomorrow at our Pastoral Center in Gaylord. It's the culmination of a lot of the time that our students in the elementary schools have put into learning the Catechism of the Catholic Church. And so I was down at one of the rounds in Cadillac a number of weeks ago, and all of the school students that advanced to this level now will be there with their families, and we'll start with the Mass and then have the round of the Catechism B that will crown a champion. But all of the students are to be commended. It's a wonderful opportunity, really, in a good, fun way, in a sense, to learn the lessons of our faith. And so it's something we want to encourage everyone to know their lessons of the Catechism, but our young people have given a good model for how to go about that in a good way. And we're so grateful for those who have proposed that model of learning and have followed up with it for the last several years at the local level and here at the diocese. So I also look forward to continuing the confirmation circuit. I will be in Mayo. I always have to stop and think, is it Mio or Mayo? So St. Mary's in Mayo tomorrow, and then St. Francis Xavier in Petoskey on Friday. I look forward to being at St. Mary St. Charles in Sheboygan on Saturday, and then down to the National Shrine of the Cross in the Woods in Indian River. It's a double header on Saturday, and then on Sunday I will be at Posen at St. Casimir's Church. So again, it's just an honor, a privilege, a joy to celebrate those sacraments of confirmation and First Holy Communion with our young people and their families and the parish communities. So thanks to all who put a lot of effort into that. Now, we also are in the next 2 weeks going to be kicking off the Catholic Services Appeal. And I'll just spend a moment or two talking about that, because I think we are all aware of just how important it is to raise the money and the funds that are required to do the mission of the church. And every year, I think probably every diocese in the country and probably around the world has a similar appeal. And for us here in the Diocese of Gaylord, it is known as the CSA, the Catholic Services Appeal. And it really is an effort for us to educate people about how those funds are used and to have an accountability of those funds. So every year, we know that it can easily fall into a type of routine that we almost take for granted, but we want to be able to make sure that there's something of a fresh way of looking at it, a zeal that we have for it, and see it as the proper way of doing stewardship for our mission of Catholicism, for our Christian faith that requires us to fuel the mission of evangelization, and the parishes, the schools, the programs, the people that are involved in those missions are very much in need of the funds, like any other good endeavor that takes place in the world. So we want to be able to put our money where our mouth is when it comes to promoting the gospel. And the church does that, as we know, in all those different ways that we articulate during the CSA. So please be attentive. Once again, this year's theme is Source and Summit. I was thinking of the summit of this mountain here. From that mountaintop peak, the church looks at the rest of its mission. From the experience of Mass, the Eucharist is the source and summit of our faith. So if you would look at the CSA materials this year, they're very attractive. They have a wonderful way of communicating the message of the appeal for the funds for our mission. They have a new video this year and a brochure that tells the stories of how people benefit from the CSA. So as the parishes roll out those materials this week, I just simply ask you to be attentive to them, and once again, give as generously as possible, and that giving is always going to be rewarded 100 times more by God for the way that we can carry out and build up his kingdom, carry out the mission and build up his kingdom. So thank you very much for checking in this week, and may God bless you.